Hi. When I went to do my master's in London, a very good group of friends of mine in Hong Kong gifted me a Eurail pass, which meant that I could travel unlimited, for free, across Europe, across this whole network of trains for 2 weeks. And they wrote me this very lovely farewell card and saying they wanted me to go on this nice holiday while I was doing the master's. It's truly, both financially and in thought, a very generous gift. However, I get to London, I'm in the master's, and I don't really want to go on a holiday. I came here to study, to get my master's. I'm also, weirdly, unexpectedly, really enjoying the work. Okay, bear with me. Really enjoying the work of the master's and doing this interesting stuff that I've never done before. I didn't expect that I would be learning something different about myself, about design and creative practice, which is why I went to school ostensibly, but had my doubts about, even while I was there. So I was thinking to myself, how can I take advantage of this unexpected resource that my friends very generously gave me, and also work my schoolwork into it at the same time? You know, big brain time, right? So luckily for me, the 4th term of my master's is a self-guided term. And it's about coming up with your own practice, right? So you set up your own project brief, and when you leave, when you finish that term, you have to present, the work that you did. And it's not meant to be a time to Skype off, but you are allowed to get away from campus. So I'm like, perfect, I'm gonna use the Eurail pass. And I came up with this brief for myself that at that time had no idea where it was gonna go. But it started with wanting to ask this question of London-based Europeans. If I was to visit your hometown, what would you want me to bring back for you? And I just thought I love this question. I want to know everyone's answer. What comes of it, comes of it. And I happened to ask this classmate of mine named Kiara. Didn't know where she was from, not particularly close to her, still not close to her now, despite telling this story. She turns out to be from this small town called Scalea, which is in the southern part of Italy, very close to the toe. Population, 10,000. She tells me, I would like to get a photograph of my high school. The most abstract answer I've gotten so far. And she says, the high school appears in my dreams. And when I was in school there, weird things happened around the school. Like, this is great in my mind. This is gonna be perfect. A couple weeks later, I'm on a series of increasingly local trains to the south of Italy. Get off at Scalea, realize exactly how out of place I am. Definitely the only non-Italian speaking Chinese young woman, non-tourist, right, research project, for miles, miles and miles, miles and miles. So much so that I do think anyone who saw me that day went home and asked, did you see the Chinese girl at the train station? Or was I imagining that? So I check into my bed and breakfast, where there's this very lovely couple running it, and they want to drive me everywhere because they think I'm there for a beach holiday. I do not explain to them, because I can barely explain in English at this point exactly what I'm doing in terms of design research, that I'm not there on a holiday, I just keep declining, right? And they're like, okay. And I don't think to myself, well, maybe they know something about it's better to drive than walk around this small town in Italy. And I set out along these completely barren, hot, dusty roads towards the high school. And cars are slowing down to look at me, okay? I'm the only person walking, besides the fact that, Chinese young woman, non-Italian speaking. Cars are slowing down to watch me. And I start wondering, should I get my sister on the phone? Like, what if this is taken for? But also, what is Charlotte gonna do from Hong Kong? Like, I'm just gonna traumatize her if I get taken. So I just keep walking, and I'm like, oh my god, doubts are building up. What if the high school's not there? What if I came to the south of Italy for nothing? Like, what if I don't complete my master's and all of this is, okay. Escalation. So I see the high school, and I'm so, so, so relieved that this building exists, and also that nothing weird has happened so far. And I'm taking photos and recording video and doing all of those things that I'd outlined to my professor that I was gonna do. And this thought crosses my head, what if I go into the high school? And this thought crosses my head because now or never, right? When is this going to happen to me again? And also because their fence was so useless. This fence was vertical metal columns about a foot apart from each other. No horizontal bars whatsoever. No spiky stuff on top, just vertical bars. You know, just like a slip through. So I'm like, stop the brain. I just slipped through. I'm inside the high school, and I'm like doing all of the same things, taking photos, taking recordings. I'm on the roof, okay, like we're close to the roof. I know, things went, sped up fast. And I think I hear cars approaching. And we cannot verify if I actually heard cars or I hallucinated cars. I hear cars approaching, and like my happiness immediately turns into panic. Just raging fear again. One of those cars passing by was the police. They turned back around. They're here to get me. Not only is Charlotte gonna get a phone call, like I'm gonna be in jail. So I totally freak out. I think, okay, I can't go out the front door because I don't know why. Genuinely, I was like, I can't go out the front door. I'll be too conspicuous. I'll be just like out in the open. So I'm gonna go through the back over the useless fence. I'm gonna go through the back into this field. Miscalculated this. The field is full of thorny bushes. So I land in these thorny bushes. Okay, hot, sweaty, panicking, scratched up. I'm like, okay, just run. Like, running through the south of Italy. Like, what am I doing with my life? And I reached the main road. I started to calm down. I walk back, like casually as a design student, many borders away from campus can, back towards the front of the campus, on my way to the bed and breakfast. And there are no cars, obviously, and still not a single living soul. I'm just like, wow, the trip I went through in my mind. Walking back to the bed and breakfast, I just couldn't figure out the sequence of choices I made that led up to that day. But the amazing thing to me in that moment was, well, who knows what sequence of random choices I make in the future is going to lead me to some new unimagined place. Thank you.
You didn't get the photo?
I did. I got